On the last Christmas before the city forgot how to snow, I found the town where it still did. It all began in my attic with a box of tangled lights. I'd opened the same box every December since I was a kid, but this time, the wires just sagged in my hands, as if the memories strung through them had grown too heavy. Outside my window, skyscrapers glowed with electric color, but the air smelled only of asphalt and exhaust. The forecast promised another gray holiday, without a single flake of snow. My first thought was just to throw the lights away, but instead, I sat on the floor and followed the cord from the plug to the final bulb, like a pilgrim tracing a relic. Near the middle, my fingers brushed against a bulb I didn't remember, a small glass bead that shone with its own silver light, even though it wasn't plugged in. The moment I touched it, the attic tilted. Dusty beams stretched and softened. The floor sank like new snow, and the buzz of my refrigerator faded into a deep, soft silence. When the world steadied again, I was standing on a narrow street, under a sky full of slow, drifting white. At the end of the street, a small square opened up around a tall spruce tree. Tiny candles burned on its branches, their flames impossibly still. On one side of the square, a station sat half buried beneath a cap of snow. Above its doors hung a clock, its hands frozen at 3 minutes to midnight. The sign beneath it read simply, "Last Christmas." The name felt like a memory I had mislaid, not something new. Without being told, I just knew this is where Christmas came when it was forgotten elsewhere. Songs that no one sang anymore slept in its chimneys. Old ornaments that didn't match new color schemes found fresh branches here. Traditions that busy families no longer had time to keep drifted down like snow and settled gently on its streets. At the far edge of the square stood a small church. Inside, rows of candles burned like steady stars. But instead of people in the pews, there were objects, set carefully along the worn wood. A single red mitten, its yarn loop extended, a wooden train with chipped paint, a recipe card spattered with cocoa, a photograph of a family in winter coats, their faces caught halfway between words and laughter, and on the front bench, a glass snow globe, its base worn smooth by countless hands. In that moment, I understood. The town was built from things people couldn't bear to throw away, but didn't know how to keep. Every forgotten ornament, every lost card, every cracked mug that had once held late-night chocolate. When those objects reached the end of their usefulness in our world, they didn't just vanish. They woke up here and rearranged themselves into houses and streets and trees. The snow globe called to me with a quiet, steady shimmer. I picked it up gently. Inside was a miniature version of the town itself, snow swirling over tiny roofs and a tiny spruce in a tiny square. The clock on the station inside the globe was frozen at the same time as the one above the real station doors. As I held it, an image unfolded in my mind with the clear warmth of candlelight. I saw a child who had once kept this globe beside her bed. Every night in December, that small hand would shake it before sleep and whisper a wish for snow on Christmas morning. Years later, the globe was packed into a box during a hurried move and never unpacked. Seasons turned, addresses changed, and the globe waited in darkness until the tape on the box loosened, and a careless hand carried it to the curb. There, it slipped quietly out of that world and appeared here, in mine. Outside, the frozen clock rang. Impossibly, its hands didn't move. The sound rolled through the streets like a slow, bright wave, and I felt the whole town take a single, deep breath. I realized then that the town obeyed a different calendar. It celebrated not only the Christmas that arrived each year, but every Christmas that almost asterisk happened. Every visit postponed for a better time. Every letter drafted and never sent. Every plan to bake, or to call, or to just step outside and look at the stars that was quietly pushed aside. All those almost Christmases gathered here, like flurries caught in an updraft. As the echo of the bell faded, I felt a gentle tug at my wrist. A faint silver thread had appeared, extending from my watch into the air like a strand of spider silk. It glowed softly and carried a feeling I knew too well, a mix of regret and hope. The thread pointed toward the station. I followed it through the doors. Inside, the air smelled of coal and pine. Benches lined the walls, each one occupied not by travelers, but by more of those rescued objects. A paper star folded by impatient fingers. A scarf unraveling at one end. A ceramic angel missing one wing, but still serenely watchful. The silver thread from my wrist wove among them and vanished under a door marked departures. Beyond that door lay a single platform. A train waited there, its metal sides reflecting the candlelight from the town. Along its cars, dates had been painted in careful script. Some had already passed into memory. Some had not yet arrived. And at the center, I saw the date of the Christmas I was living right now. The silver thread anchored itself to that car, and its meaning settled over me like new snow. This train didn't carry people. It carried chances. Each December, it departed quietly from this hidden town and moved through the world, stopping unseen wherever someone stood at the edge of choosing whether to make room for wonder or to surrender completely to exhaustion. And now, the town was placing one more chance in my hands. If I stepped onto the train, I wouldn't just wake up at home. I could bring a piece of the town back with me. I could carry its patient snow and its quiet insistence that small things matter, back into the noise of the life I had been rushing through. I stepped onto the platform and felt the town watching me, not with pressure, but with the gentle concern of someone holding out a warm coat to a friend. The silver thread tightened around my wrist. I set my hand on the handle of the car door. The snow in the town rose in a silent spiral. It wrapped the station, the spruce, the church of patient objects. It wrapped the train itself in a shimmering veil. For one heartbeat, I saw every Christmas that had ever been and every one that might still be, layered like sheets of glass. Children dancing in candlelight, elderly hands tying ribbons, someone eating dinner alone with the radio for company, someone standing at a window, feeling too old to believe in magic and too young to be content without it. All of them linked by silver threads, weaving through the dark like new constellations. Then the snow fell back to earth, soft as breath. The train moved forward. The station, the spruce, the clock, and the town of last Christmas folded inward, until they were no larger than the snow globe resting in my palm. I was back in my attic, with the open box of lights. In my fingers, I still held the small silver bulb, but now I understood. It wasn't burned out. It held the whole town, its streets in quiet snow, and train full of second chances pressed into a single point of light. I plugged in the string. Every bulb shone steadily, including the silver one. Outside, the sky remained gray, but the room felt different, as if the world had taken a deeper breath and was waiting to see what I would do. That night, when I turned off the lamps, a faint glow remained. I looked back and saw the silver bulb shining softly on the tree. For a moment, just long enough to make me wonder if I had dreamed anything at all, tiny flakes seemed to swirl inside the glass around the faint outline of a little station and a clock whose hands were finally inching forward. I understood then that last Christmas was no longer just a hidden town at the edge of forgetting. It lived now inside every December choice. As long as someone, somewhere, paused to light even a single candle against the dark, the train would keep running. The snow would keep falling in that secret place, and another small, almost moment would be welcomed fully into the warm, bright center of Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more tales that find the magic in the everyday. Happy holidays!